it's hard to get a room filled with.
There's some things, Charlie, I wanted to say to you I just didn't want to forget and leave out. So, one of the pleasures and joys of being the city manager, frankly, is that at least once a year, and all too often, as the mayor said, I get to represent a very large workforce that has the opportunity to express appreciation for all of the employees, Charlie, for the work that you've done. And I have a few more comments I want to make about that. But before I do, I want to introduce Paul Abbott, who is our police chief, who has, this is a little out of the ordinary from these receptions you've been to, Charlie, but the police department, through the chief, wants to make some comments specifically to you, and I'm going to ask Paul to do that first. And Paul, if you would.
Thank you. We count on citizen support every day from the entire community, and I've only been with the department now a couple of months.
38 years?
38 years and 2 months. But the time I've been back, and even before I retired, I had a helper, and I now have an assistant chief, and we have something we'd like to present to our assistant chief on behalf of the department. It says, well, come here and let me give this to you. Give the photographers a chance to run up here. This plaque is to my assistant chief. It is presented to Council Member Charlie Heggins in recognition of your dedicated service to the city of Denton from your friends at the Denton Police Department, May 2011.
Oh, this is totally new. Can I come back next year if I want?
Charlie, you're welcome anytime you want to come back.
Paul, do you have one of those for the dash?
Thank you, Paul. Over the past 40 years or so, I've learned that there are a rather large variety of reasons that people run for city council in their communities. And some of those reasons are, I understand, some people are just in a position that they believe that they want to serve, they want to give back to their community, they have something to offer, and that motivates them to do that. There are times when people are elected to public office or decide to put their name on the ballot because they're unhappy about something, the status quo they're not particularly pleased with, so they do it for that reason. And there are times when their friends and their neighbors solicit them to do that and to bring forward their expertise and their experience and their knowledge and their commitment. And my guess is, although I wasn't here when Charlie was elected, I came a few months later to Denton, is that was one of the reasons that she ran, in addition to her strong commitment that I've learned about in this community. Whatever the reason that a person runs for city council, I've always, and I've said this many times over the last 40 years, I understand why they do it the first time. I'm not sure that I understand why they run a second time or a third time, particularly when we're in hard economic times, and as our mayor said, it's not fun particularly to cut budgets, to debate gas well locations, and to make some of the damned if I do and damned if I don't decisions that have to be made by the elected officials. It's tough. But Charlie has done that. She stuck with it. And we have to commend her for doing that. I've also learned that there are several reasons why people leave the city council when they've served. Some of that is because their constituents decide it's time to leave and they don't give them the option. Sometimes it's because the volume of work, and I've seen this happen time and time again. The volume of work just becomes overwhelming, and it takes away from their other life, away from the city council. And we ought to all be grateful for that. Charlie's clearly experienced that, but she stuck it out, and she's served 6 years on the city council. Another reason that sometimes people leave, Charlie, is because we make the rules and decide that we want other people to be able to share that joy that you experience as a council member. And we just simply don't let you serve another term. So that's clearly the reason, Charlie, that we know you're leaving the city council. I know that because I believe you have the commitment and the enthusiasm and the desire and the energy, more than some of us, that you continue to do this for a very long time, if we would let you. Because I believe she could do that. I also believe, because she's told me this, that she's going to be involved in the community even after she leaves the city council, and again, we're all grateful for that. Charlie, it's that drive, that enthusiasm, that commitment that makes it such a pleasure to serve with you on the city council. You were always available to us on the city staff when we needed you. You have always been patient and respectful and very professional. You have, at times, been persistent. And in a manner that I'm sure probably will not surprise any of us in the room, you have been very candid at times. I'm grateful for that. Believe me, I'm grateful for that. Charlie has a way of saying things to you very definitively in a very calming way. There's been more than one time in the last 5 years that Charlie's come into me, no matter what the data was or the information available, the issue, where she really felt very strongly about it, that she could just kind of give that look to you and that stare, and she could say to you, George, this is the right thing to do. She's been our social conscience in a lot of ways. And she could give you that look, and without saying any more than, George, we need to do it this way. I have the experience, I know. I've been there, I've done that, I've got to teach you. We heard her say that as early as this last week. So, Charlie, for a lot of us as bureaucrats, as I said, you've been our moral compass in a way, our social conscience, and you've made us think hard about what we're doing and why we're doing it and how we're doing it. And I've, again, been doing this for over 40 years, and I can tell you, I don't think I've worked with an elected official who has more of a social conscience and energy about what she's done as a council member, and we love you for that, Charlie. We truly do. You've been an incredible asset to this whole community, not just to District 1, although you've represented your constituents incredibly well there. So we appreciate what you're doing, and even if you're not sitting at that table on Tuesday nights anymore, we're going to think about what would Charlie say and what would Charlie do. So, Charlie, we want to again express our appreciation to you. I also want to say to Kevin Bowden, who's coming into office in your place, that you've got some very big shoes to fill in following Charlie into that District 1 seat. We look forward to working with you and to enjoying that time.